So the first thing you should understand in Canva's layout is the dashboard. So this is the dashboard right here. And going through the dashboard, we could do things easily. So what I want to do now, I'll just close that. And they say this is our Canva app. And the first thing you want to do now is to understand the app layout. All you have to do is to choose a template or you search for a template. Let's say you want to work on a social media post, you search for that, you search social media and you could easily create a social media post by searching, and that's what I just did. I searched for social media templates, then I'll see a whole lot of templates right here. As you can see, we're having different types of templates, but you could see right here we have pro. You will see that something like pro is showing right here. As you could see, this pro means they are pro designs, so you have to subscribe to Canva to be able to use these designs. But the ones that are not having all those pro designs, like this one, means you can use it here on your app. So you don't have to subscribe to use the other one. So anywhere you see pro, just know they are premium templates that you can use if only you subscribe to Canva. But you don't need to subscribe to Canva. You can easily do whatever you want to do. So having to search for a template, you could easily choose any of the templates that resonates with what you want to do, and at the same time you could have them deleted. You could have the templates cleared, so you have a blank Canva and you just take the size only. So this is a social media template, as you could see, and you see that we have all contents, we have design, we have brand templates, we have categories. So you could check more, you could do all that, and you'll see more of these. You could create blank and start afresh. So let's click on create blank so we can create a blank Canva, and what you see on this screen is your blank Canva. And right now we could use this to design whatever we want to design. So when you have a mobile app, you see your stack right here. Your stack is down here, so this is your stack. So you just scroll. If you have a smaller screen and it doesn't size all the stack, you just scroll away from this and you see your hamburger here where you get to see your create design and every other thing. Then you could change the name of your design. You could change what name you are giving it. So you see your editing and all that. So you could do a whole lot. You could do a whole lot. See where to change your name. All you have to do is click on the hamburger and you'll see a pen to you see a pencil to change your name. So what I'm going to do now is to click on the hamburger right here, and I'm going to try to change the name of this design. I'll click on the pen tool and I'll change it to social media design. Media design, and here we are. So I'm going to input that and the name has been changed. So right here we have a blank Canva and we could start using it. So you have to just click on this, and the first thing, when you click on this you can work on this Canva, on this black Canva. You could replace it, and when you replace it you could replace it with an image. You could choose to replace it with an image, which I have a lot of that. So we could replace it with an image of mine. So let me see an image I could replace it with. So I could decide to replace it with that image, and this image comes in. So this image coming in now replaces the Canva with this. So we have this, and you could easily click on this to repair this. So this image could be worked on because this is the current element we are on. You could easily work on it by using this replace, crop. You could use a whole lot. So you could say you want to crop and it brings something like this. So you get to crop your image, you get to give it a perfect size. So if you want to give it a perfect size, so this is where you come, and I'm going to just have this done. I'm going to click on done. Then you could easily adjust, you could adjust the image and everything. So you could say you want to adjust, and you adjust the design, the brightness. You could do all that. You could adjust the brightness or lower the brightness, and you could lower the contrast. So you could do some basic edits to the image we have right here. You could increase the tints or reduce the tints if you want to. So it depends on what you want. So you could do all that. So you could just leave the brightness the way it is, the temperature. You could choose to increase it or reduce it. then you could auto adjust. And when you auto adjust, you have something great. Then you see the highlight, you could increase the highlight or reduce the highlight. The shadows, you could do the same. And this way, we are just working on the image basically, and it's looking great so far. So you could increase the black or reduce the black, and the vibrance, you could do a whole lot with the image. So here we are, we have that already. So we are good to go. And yes, we are going to just close that. Then you could remove the background, you could work on the filters if you want to. So there are a lot of things you could do. I love this filter, so I could leave it at that filter. Yeah, so we can continue. I could leave it at this filter, and yes, we are good to go. So I'm going to close that. Yes, I'm going to close this, and here we are. So you could work on effects, you could work on the effects, you could do an autofocus, you could do an autofocus, focus position, and all that. So these are just basic edits. So to start a design is as easy as that. So you could do autofocus, you could change the blur intensity, or you could see the blur intensity looks more good. You could change that. You could focus position, which we don't want to do that. So yes, we could focus position if we want to. So we could do something like this. Canva is just a nice tool to use. So you could focus position, but I'm not doing that. So I take this back, and here we are. So we're going to close that. So we have an autofocus going on, and this looks great. This filter looks great. And right now, you could just add your text. You could add your apps. These are apps that are integrated to Canva. So you could use other apps with Canva, and these apps can do a whole lot for you. But we're going to talk about app integration later on. But for now, let's just leave this at that. So here you see your effects, like I said, you see your apps, you see your color. So you could change color if you want to. You could give a red color and changes the color of this. Then you could choose not to give it a color. So you come right here and you just make sure you're not giving it a color. So yes, we're going to have something like this, and here we are going to have a gradient. So you could have a gradient, you could just click on this to have a gradient. So yes, we have this, and we are going to just make sure this is sorted. So I'm going to just use a color eyedropper. You could use your gradient, and gradients just give you varieties of color to use. And here we are. So yes, here we are. So you could just delete the color if you don't want any color. You could delete the color right here. You could just say you want to delete. Then coming back to solid color, you could just choose something like this, and here we are. So we could just leave the color at that. So if you don't want all that, so you could just see that we are just doing the basic things about this. Then you could see your layers. So we have layers, we only have one layers, and what we want to do now is you could just check out the layer, and the layer is just a color. So you could go back to what you were. If you had issues with going back to what you were, you will just go back this way. Then it takes you back to where you were coming from. And if you want to go forward, you go back that way. So yes, let's do the going back, and here we are back to our image. And here you could see your flip. Flip is used to flip. You could flip this image vertically, you could flip horizontally. So you could do a whole lot of flipping. You could choose to flip this way. Then you could animate. Then you could give it an opacity. You could make it transparent, but I'm not doing all that. So your layer so far is just an image. Then you see your overlapping. So if you add other elements of design, you see them here. So that's just basic about you using Canva, and everything you needed to use is just here. So you could detach the image from the background, you could lock the background, you could add page, you could apply colors to pages and all that. So you could do your copy, paste, duplicate. So I could detach the image from the background, and I have the image separately, I have the background separately. So these are one of the things you could do as well. And so far so good, it's looking great. And that's how to explore the layout. We are going to talk more about it. So you could just click on something like this, and you see more about what you're doing. Like I said, you could check your layers, and you could see this is the current layer, and we have this, and we have an image overlapping on it. So what we want to do now, you could just easily swap them out if you don't want this to be here. you could swap this out and bring this there. But that's not what we are doing right now. Like I said, if you want to go back to where you're coming from and you don't know how to go back, you use this button right here. So we use this and we use this to go back. So we have what we had, and yes, we are good to go.